the stalker was outside every night from darkfall to sunrise. And I'm like, is this like a homeless guy who's on drugs? Like, who can do that? You know, that just doesn't make sense. So, but it does make sense that it's another type of being. And this is my backyard right here. This is where a lot of stuff goes down right here.
Hello, I'm Alan. But there's definitely a couple shadow beings here, and they're doing most of what's going on.
One time, I heard a noise out here, and I grabbed my flashlight. I was in bed, and I flashed my flashlight, and there was, and I thought it was a man at my rear door back here, but I could only see the shadow. And I thought that was just the way that the light was reflecting. But it totally makes sense that it would be like a shadow person. So I'll take you inside. There'll be somebody sitting on my bed when I'm in here, because I know what it sounds like, you know, when you sit on the bed, and so I'll hear that sitting on the bed at all times. It doesn't matter if it's day or night. I'll hear it's like a heavy running, like if you picture somebody was like 500 pounds and running like a marathon, like a sprint, right across here, and it'll shake the whole ground. Like you'll feel it, like the footsteps go, and that happens all the time.
So one of the first things I noticed is that there's a lot of nature spirits here. They don't necessarily dwell here, but this is like a place where they, this property is a place where they move through.
Oh.
So one of the really huge nature beings, runs through here. So that's what that is.
Okay.
Is those really large nature beings moving through the property. So I'll talk with them, let them know that there's stuff that we would like to have lifted off the property. And they'll be assisting with that. There's a lot of sorrow and loss, a lot of tragic things in the memory of this property.
Oh, wow.
So
I had heard that shadow beings are attracted to negative energy. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's two main shadow beings. There's like a gathering of lesser shadow beings, kind of minion-y types. So we'll lift those off the property, get them to the proper place they need to be.
Okay.
And this property doesn't have much protection.
What does that mean?
With all the trauma that's stored here, it attracts more of that kind of energy and that kind of consciousness.
Yeah, it does. I mean, things have been happening since I moved in. Like, it does seem to always be something.
Yeah. So, yeah. And with you being growing in your awareness, uh, you're going to keep being more and more aware of things.
Yeah.
Okay. So some of the older violence and tragedy and trauma feels like battlefield stuff.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to lift that first. So I'm going to lift as much of all that stuff, all the related stuff to that. That will lessen the attraction that the shadow beings have to the place.
Okay.
Make it easier to talk with them.
Okay.
It's concentrated where those houses are.
Right here?
Yeah. And then in the central area where the yard opens up.
Oh, okay. I'm getting a lot of intensity right now, but that could be your work, you know, as you get moving.
So there's lots of corpses, and there's lots of beings that are kind of in this loop of not being dead yet, but they're dying, although they died a long time. The way the consciousness is configured to be on some kind of loop. So there's loads of beings that did not make it into the light.
Wow.
Loads.
Wow.
And some of the clothing these people are wearing look like buckskin type stuff, and then there are quite a few that look like they're wearing Civil War uniforms.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know how much of the Civil War was fought in California, if any. So I don't know what that's about specifically.
Mm-hmm.
See if see why we'd be seeing a few Civil War beings here. And the Civil War beings may not be associated necessarily with the location. They may be associated with the people who settled the area.
Oh, okay.
Could be some ancestral stuff that's unresolved.
That's good.
So we'll look into, we should be able to find some information on the area in the local library. Okay, so we're starting to loosen and dissolve and clear all the attachments to the location and the trauma and everything. We're starting to lift all that out of the beings. Yeah, I'm gonna start lifting them into the light.
So I get my information at an auditory level, and I just got a huge movement.
Okay, so we've done the entire property from, the whole perimeter onto the center, including this house and everything that's involved. What else are you tracking?
I was getting just the movement of energy, and you know how it happens in my ears. So I'll get like light, and then really heavy and thick, and then light, and I'm still learning to discern what those different level of noises mean. Early on, I did get an image of the battlefield too, not with the detail you did, but just like battle happening, action type thing. So Reverend Patricia, she had started to describe this, and then she stopped. She didn't want to scare me at the time, but she had said that one of the shadow beings waits for me in the side of the property where it's really dark, because he knows that I'm nervous about what happens at that side, and it's true. So I actually put this mirror here. I'll let you get a shot of it when you come out, but as like an effort to reflect energy, kind of like a feng shui thing, and the symbolism is like one-way protection. So this is. So I think this right here is the area where she was talking about where he waits for me. I think it's along this.
Yeah, so these shadow beings are they're very competitive.
With each other?
Just in general. And they think it's fun to mess with you.
Oh wow, so they're like competing with each other on who can mess with me the most.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And they don't see where there's anything wrong with it. They think they're in the right. So they're also thinking they're going to outmaneuver me. So they view you in two very simple ways. One, you're easy prey, and two, you're challenging.
Challenging.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It sounds like many of the men that I've met in my life as well.
There may be a pattern. We can clear that too. Well, the fairies that travel through here, they're willing to assist in dealing with what's going on. Shadow beings have begun trying to manipulate things. Yeah, they don't want to interact with me directly, not even to communicate. They want to kind of sneak around to the side and behind and do things. Yeah, they've been extracting a lot of information from the various types of soldiers that have been here.
Well, that's fascinating. What purpose might that have? Do you know?
For them, it's gathering intel to use against people. Basically, they fancy themselves as being smarter than everyone else. Okay, so the clearing of them has begun. Are you tracking anything?
Just different fluctuations in the energy. Sometimes it feels like a little too much.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're quite strong.
I had put out my hands to hold the space back here for when they try to sneak around, and then I immediately felt like pressure there.
Yeah. Now the beings are feeling some, not grief or remorse about this stuff, but they're starting to feel their own emotions. Yeah, there's a lot of their memories are coming up to the surface. These beings were serial killers.
Oh my goodness.
So. Okay. What are you noticing?
I was getting back over there when I was trying to tune in. I was getting blocked a little bit, and my central nervous system was a little funky. So I didn't get as much as I would have otherwise, I think. Not even the fluctuations of the energy. I didn't get that as much. It's like a block.
That would make sense.
Okay.
Those were pretty nasty people.
You're gone?
Yes.
Oh, thank goodness.
And now I'm going to bless the property.
Okay.
What are you noticing?
I got a flash of light a little bit ago. I got a couple different times of a steady stream of energy. What would it look? What do you think Patricia might see if she were here with that thing?
She would have seen she would have seen the blessing of the lamp. She would have seen the lifting of the that malaise of negativity being gathered up and handed off to the upper communities. She would have seen the higher protective beings come in and sweep the area, and they would have seen the protection being laid in place, the grid work and layers of protection.
Great.
So she would have felt all these and seen all these different kinds of light being layered into the property.
Great. That's great. I feel really good about that.
So maybe do a few additional things. So what are you noticing?
I wish that I could see all of the detail that you described. Again, just little fluctuations of energy and high vibration. Because when I tune in and I get a high vibration, like I'll actually get like a little shake. So I did get that.
Very cool.
Anything you can describe that Patricia might see?
She would see all the nature spirits that move through here, and some of the ones that kind of will hang out here for a time, kind of rest up. She'll see them working.
Okay.
Not only to clean up the negativity and help the environment, but also to kind of reinforce and establish their own type of security and protection for the location.
Great.
And they're more aware of keeping the humans and the human pets safe. So they're more aware of you guys than they were before. Not that they weren't aware of you, they just weren't paying that much attention.
Okay.
So they're going to pay more attention and do what they can to keep you guys and the property in their vigil,
Wonderful.
in their watch when they move through here.
Wonderful. What do you think I can expect in the future? I know we've done different kinds of clearings, and will this continue to be a place where nature spirits pass, and I can just accept that some noises
Yeah.
will be that? Okay.
Because this has been a place they've moved through for a really long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about shadow people? I have the tips for my own sacred space. I have the home clearing tips. Anything else that I can do to keep them from being attracted to this area again?
I don't think they will be.
Okay. That's
There's
great.
too much light here. And all the battlefield and tragedy stuff's lifted.
Wonderful.
So, I noticed that that your attempts to do environmental clearing have only been able to do so much.
Yeah.
Because at the level that everyone has environmental clearing, it's not designed for something this big.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's designed for much more simpler things. So it's good that I came over.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have some presents. This is from my family. Yours to say thank you. It's kind of fragile, so.
Oh, wow. That is awesome.
Oh, it's a flute.
Very cool. This is awesome. Yes. It looks like I'll be learning to play a flute.
And here's this one. It makes the most beautiful sound. I'm not a good flute player, but you can envision what it would sound like if a good flute player played it.
Very cool. Well, this one's a lot more hefty. Very cool. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Probably wrap it up again.
Yeah, keep it safe.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So cute.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I've spent so many nights in here freaking out. It's been my life in this place, but I love it so much. Like I didn't want to leave. You know, it's beautiful, all the nature and
Yeah.
everything.
Well, this is a cool location.
Yeah.
So I would like to clear that pattern of attracting those types of men.
Oh, that'd be great.
Unless you like those types of men.
Oh no, no. I have lots of stories about that too, but I'll save
Yeah.
you that one.
Yeah, so go ahead and have
Okay.
a seat. The first thing I'm picking up is several lifetimes where you were in cultures where it was arranged marriages, largely for political purposes and more specifically to create peace. And so you were forced to marry enemies. And you can imagine how well that goes.
Wow.
So we're going to start lifting that stuff.
Okay.
Because it's become a pattern where you just kind of basically acquiesce to enemies.
Wow.
And you know, it's no longer politically arranged and all that stuff. It's just a pattern where you know, the connection happens, and you end up hooking up with people that are actually not even friends.
Oh my goodness.
Is that a decent description of what you've been experiencing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lately, though, at least in the last few years, I've noticed that right away. Like from when I have the first date, I'll notice that, and then I'm like, oh no, I don't think so. And the next person, exact same thing. Oh no. So then it's like just every guy that I go on a date with, it's the same thing. I'm like, why? How am I attracted to these guys? Like, what's going on? You know? So that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's good that you have the awareness in this lifetime to say, no.
Yeah.
Enough. Come on, guys. Yeah. So let's go ahead and lift that. So you do have a larger percentage of parallel lives where this took place. However, even though there's more parallel lives, the past lives in this kind of time frame, those are older. So I'm going to clear the oldest first. Now, normally something like this, I would see that the generational stuff, the ancestral stuff, needs to be cleared first. But you really internalize this stuff as a part of who you are back then. Mm-hmm. You just resigned yourself. So that's why we're clearing that stuff first.
Okay. Because you can imagine how powerful just a resigned shutdown, how powerful that is, especially if it's done in reoccurring lifetimes. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you felt like just shut down in some way with the relationships?
Absolutely.
Okay. I should probably do a shot so it'll make me talk.
When Patricia met with me on a related topic to this, she had found that there was a chief of a tribe, and she had his name, although I don't recall it, and he had a hold on me still, and he was saying that I was his. And that's actually who she removed in our last session.
Okay, yeah, I see that. So a lot of the parallel lives are similar in current time to your this physical experience. And that would explain why a lot of this is so real and so strong for you.